But yeah, so there, like I said, there is a bit of a silver lining there. This in here, this is what also, this in here done really upset me now. Washington, it really, really sucks. So many of the blue states are totally just imploding on themselves with this not only critical race theory garbage, but this wokest trans ideology. So check this out. Some schools in Washington, the school teachers are being required not to let the parents know when their children decide that they want to change their gender, call themselves by a different name, or start to use pronouns that start to play the whole pronoun game, start to use preferred pronouns. The school is disallowing parents from teachers from reaching out to parents and saying, "Hey, just so you know,
that's a
your daughter Jessica is wanting to call herself Steve, and she's trying to grow out a mustache."
That's a lawsuit just waiting to happen. Like, how does a school even have the authority to do that?
Oh yeah,
I don't get that at all. No, because back from with my folks who are both teachers, I mean, they would come home and complain about how based. They would come home and complain about, hey Stuart, they would come home and complain about how they could, like, they were so limited and they had to do X, Y, Z.
Dude, yeah. So the school.
I mean, really, in that case, then it's really the administration.
Yeah,
who's behind it, not necessarily. Some teachers, yes, but
yeah, the administration
for sure.
In this issue is really, really hampering and hindering the teachers. It's bananas what's going on there presently. There was actually one of the teachers who had called in this whole issue, and she was crying because she felt so powerless to try and help with her students. And a lot of what you see right now, this whole trans movement, where there was some numbers that came out a few months ago, and it was stating that more than 50% of kids currently in high school were considering themselves to be trans or part of the LGBT community. And I heard some figures saying that it was closer to 80%. I heard more close to accurate was 60%.
And I feel a lot of that too is a fad.
It is.
Like, they just see it as a fad.
It's the new thing to fit in with. I'm
wondering if a lot of it comes out of like fear, where it's like, if you don't support, well, X, Y, Z.
It's FOMO, fear of missing out, fear of not being accepted.
FOMO? Yeah. Did you just make that up, or is that an actual thing?
No, little kids get that when they get told that they got to go to bed, but they can hear the parents still watching the movie in the other room. They freak out. Yeah, it is that thing, because I remember.
Let's see.
I remember being back in school. The cliques. You remember how the cliques were?
Oh yeah, you got your athletes, your jocks, your nerds, your theater people, your choir people.
Some people want to be a part of the group so badly that they will do anything.
I will hack off my dick right now.
Including debase themselves entirely just to be a part of whatever it is. And unfortunately, younger teenage girls
just got launched.
Oh man, I did too. They're not immune to it. It's why the anime convention culture can be so corrosive to people's souls, and a lot of that gets propagated there.
That'll be a good transition into another subject.
But
finish your thought first.
Yeah. So,
well, actually, Enground says Asian culture equals the group above all. Western culture equals the individual above all. Well, real Western culture. But then again, Korea and Japan aren't experiencing woke mobs and CRT TV, which I
wouldn't exactly say Western culture really pushes individual above all, because that wouldn't serve our culture. We'd be having to bend the knee to every single person's whim, which you see happening on the DNC. I think real Western culture is value the
demoralization. Here he was right.
Value the individual, at the same time recognize their value as an individual within the larger machine, and work as hard as you can for the betterment of your culture.
You know what, like, honestly is really funny, how like Japan and stuff is like really staying out of the whole woke thing, is that, and people make jokes about this, is that they're like they're, for lack of better terms, their culture can sometimes be pretty racy.
Oh, dude.
Like they hate, like in the past they hated the Chinese, you know, and stuff like that. I just think of Pai Mei from Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing. And
Yep.
you know, and we're all trying to showcase equality and stuff like that. But it goes to what we say too, where it's like stereotypes are there for a reason. It's because it points out like the weird flaws of, like, in all honesty, like observation. Like it points that out, and it's like, just laugh at it and move on. There's stereotypes for a reason.
Yes.
And
People have
above all
lost their
else,
senses of humor.
yeah, just laugh at it, because it's like, wow, that is so weirdly hilarious. Whatever, time to move on, you know. But nope.
Yeah.
It's like we've got to destroy all that. It's like you grow stronger when you understand your flaws, or your just your way of, you know, the lifestyle you choose to be and all that stuff. It's just
black humor is built on that. If you've ever watched a black stand-up comedian,
gosh, I
they
can't.
sit there and they crack what amounts to just inside joke after inside joke
That's
amongst their own culture, and everybody's dying because they all have that crazy cousin or that crazy aunt that does what's being talked about. And usually the comic will go, "Nah, I know. At least half of you here have that same guy. You know just what I'm talking about."
I can't stand that. I can't stand black humor.
Well, but the thing
like
is,
that is though. But like what you said,
yeah, the point is that they're leaning on the stereotypes of the culture because it is funny. It is so funny.
But that's the thing though, is that when they do it amongst themselves, it's funny, it's a riot, it's the best thing ever. But you know, if a white person or someone else does it, then it's insensitive. It's this, it's that.
Yeah.
And who are you to the state stuff too? It's like, you know, the whole, and especially with comedy should be, it's, you know, the gloves are off. Like it's, no one is like safe from the crosshairs of observation when it comes to
Oh
comedy.
yeah. Well, the court jester was the only one who could actually be honest in front of the king, because
You're a douchebag.
yeah,
King.
he was. Yeah,
You're a fat pile of shit.
It was like just roasting all the time, and he was the one who got to get in all the jibes and all the barbs, and it was expected. It was funny. Nobody else could dare have the kind of honesty that he had, but that was his job. He was there to bring levity to the situations.
Homo transition, says Stuart.
Dude, hold on. What is it again? FOMO trends. Oh my.
He says FOMO
gosh.
and then trans in capitalizations.
Yep. So the
Maybe I should. The flawed man of God.
The flawed. Yeah, it the whole thing is really, really gross inside Washington right now. And here's what's also getting crazy about it. Dude, this guy won't die. He's invincible. I have an invincible brute. I can't kill him.
Where is he? Where did you die?
I died downstairs, down them stairs.
There he is. This guy?
No,
this fucker?
There's a different brute. He's got a hammer.
We got a hammer.
Beat me.
Get him.
Beat me to death with it. I beat you to death, Ed. Oh gosh.
That guy that just ran up.
He is unkillable. He's an invincible.
FOMO is fear of missing out. Yep. Yep. That is true.
But check this out. So the teachers that want to speak up about this, there's a lot of them that are pushing back because they are not cool with it, as they shouldn't be. Teachers are being threatened upon pain of reprimands, possibly leading up to being fired or let go of their positions if they don't comply with the board's, the administration's wishes in keeping this information from parents. And they were giving scenarios.
Well, it sounds like they did a terrible job if people are pointing out that this is what they're being told.
Well, yeah, and the girl who actually was the mole, if you will, or the whistleblower, she was sobbing when she actually broke the story about this whole issue. And they were giving nightmare scenarios in which you would have maybe a gal, she goes to school, and at school she gets there, she changes into boys' clothes. She starts having everybody call her Ted. Then before she gets home, she changes back into her regular girl clothes and goes on just being her normal self with her family, but living this altered life. And
it's insane. That's so insane.
It is. It's completely insane. And the teachers, so many of them are encouraging it. And it's sadistic because that's somebody else's kid. That is not your job.
Yeah, that is not your responsibility.
It's like you're there to teach what has been agreed upon and what has been agreed upon to be acceptable inside the curriculum. No more, no less. It is not your job to go and pipe an ideology that you decided you wanted to cleave to back when you were a college co-ed just experimenting, and one of those weird rubbing two sticks together or rubbing two bushes together nights stuck. You don't get to now impose that on somebody else's children.